Hi everyone, welcome back to Plum Mashable. So for today's video I'm going to be trying to make a floral masculine card. So let's go ahead and get to it. Alright, so I'm going to have to start off this video by sending an apology. This was a requested video and I wrote down who requested it, but then I can't find it. And I can't find the comment. I can't remember if it was on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. So I'm very, very sorry to whoever requested this, but thank you very much for requesting it because I've been sitting on it for probably like 3 months now. And they requested a male floral card. Now I don't know if I'm going to do that. But I'm trying. I'm doing it with that thought in mind. So I'm trying not to do anything too girly, too over the top. I'm trying to be more masculine, but I'm aware that florals are always going to lean female, in my opinion. So I'm doing my best. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to start off with a piece of white cardstock. And this is just my favourite paper stop stuff. And then I'm grabbing my stitched rectangles from Fawn. This is the largest of the stitched rectangle Stackables large ones because I want to do this as the card front. But I'm doing it because I really want to try this. This is the stitched polka dot card front die from Concord 9th. But I want the stitching on the outside. So I'm going to do two because I think I want to use the dots. But at the same time, I have another one that I want to use as well. So we're just going to try both. And whichever one I don't use today, I will use on another card. And that's fun. So I'm just using these ones. I do prefer to use the Australian sizes, and that's just because I think it's easier, but I completely like using these too, and I use them occasionally, not always, but occasionally. So I'm just going to run this through my die cut machine twice, once for the first front, oh, there we go, and once for the second one, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got my two card fronts. I'm going to attach this to the front. So I'm just going to pop it right on the edge and just do that. I'm going to do it on both sides just so it doesn't wiggle because I really don't want it to wiggle. Okay, run this through as well. Now this doesn't cut anything, which is why I've got to use the other rectangle as well. All it's going to do is it's just going to put in like a piercing pattern on the back. And all it's going to do is just give me some texture or some, yeah, texture. I don't know why this tape usually doesn't peel anything. And it's being painful today. So it's on the back, so it won't make any difference. But usually I don't have any trouble with washi tape. But today we're just having a problem. It's okay. When I roll this over, you can see I've got this beautiful spotty kind of polka dot on the back. And I love that it just sits on the inside of the stitching as well. So then I'm just running my sanding tool down the edge, and it's just to knock off any of the not quite flat edges. Something I do notice is that when I don't use dies for a little while, they do tend to not cut as nicely the next time I use them. I don't know why. It's like they're making me suffer for not using them. Okay, so I've got that. I'm just really quickly going to knock off the edge on this one as well. I do find it interesting the different stitchings like between the Uniquely Creative and the Fawn. It's just a very small difference, but it's just a smaller stitching on the Fawn. It doesn't really matter, either or, but I just like it. I think it's interesting. So I'm grabbing my Misti, and I'm going to use an oldie but a goodie. I'm just going to pat this down because I don't want it to sit in the corner. I want it to sit just up a little bit. Could have grabbed my sticky mat too there, but there now. So I'm grabbing my, where'd it go? Altenew Pinstripe background stamp. I love this for backgrounds. And it's going to be a nice subtle background. So both of them I'm trying to be subtle. I feel like you can go big with mail cards. You definitely can. But I feel like I get a better result when I just go a little bit more subdued. So I'll pick that up. I'm going to come in with Lost Shadow from, this is the brand new Distress colour. It's actually the first time I'm using it, which is bad because I've had it for like 3 weeks. But I haven't had an opportunity to use it yet. I don't need to do the whole thing. I could do just the bit that I'm on, but I just find it easier. So just popping that down. Just giving it just a touch. And then I don't even want to do it again. That's fine. It's just, I should have just had a good look at that before I did it. So this is a fear now, because no, I'm not going to, it's just missing a little spot down here, but I'm going to leave it and I'm just going to hope that I can cover it up. Okay, cleaning this one. And then for our main floral image, I'm going to bring in another oldie but a goodie. This is from Altenew as well. I'm just going to put this away. Altenew do fabulous flowers. I just find that no matter what flower they do, they always do it well. Come on. So this one's going to be the Coral Charm, is what it's called, I think. Yes, Coral Charm. And it's got this beautiful buildable flower. I can't get words out. So I'm going to bring in that piece of cardstock that was left over, because that's fine to do. And I'm going to see if I can get 2. Let's see. So that's been through the die cut machine, so it's just a little bit messy, but that's okay. So I'll start off with the base layer. So this has got 4 layers. There's also some leaves, and we'll see how we go with the leaves. So popping that down in the middle here, and we'll pick this up. And then this is where I'm going to use, for the first time on camera, I have used them off camera, my 3 Lawn Fawn inks. So I've got Merman, Mermaid, and Minty Fresh. So we're going to build this up. So this is where the teal and the grey are very beautiful together anyway. But I feel like teal can be feminine, but it can also be masculine, and that's where I'm going here. So we'll see. So we'll put the first layer down. It will look a bit patchy. That's okay. I find that Lawn Fawn inks eventually kind of all go together, but I will do 2 layers of Minty Fresh. And then I'm just going to flip it so that I can do the other one at the same time. So we'll do 2 flowers with one go. So I'll take that layer off. We'll come in with the second layer here. So there is a little line up thing on the back here, so I can use that to help me. But I've actually done this often enough that I think most of the time I'm okay. But the good thing is, if I line it up on this one, when I go over to, like when I rotate it to get the second one, it'll automatically be right. The cool thing is too that, honestly, this stamp looks beautiful either way. Whether I line it up properly or not, it still looks beautiful. So I'm going to come in with Mermaid, which is like a step up. So it's just a little bit darker. And then we'll come in with the last layer. Now this one's the one I struggle with, because I just always seem to put it just slightly in the wrong spot. And this one we're going to come in with Merman. So this one is darker again. So it ends up being this beautiful 3-layer flower, and it can look a little odd with this, but when you put the, I'm just going to put one more. I just feel like I want a bit more depth there. Oh yes. When you put the black on the back, like on the, what am I saying? When you put the outline on it, it all comes together. It's so pretty. And these will all kind of come back just a little bit, and then they'll look perfect. Oh, it's just gorgeous. Okay, and then we put our outline on there as well. Easy to line up, same thing as the others. You just line it up on top of the image. It's really easy. And the cool thing is that even if you don't line it up like perfectly, it still just looks amazing. So I'm going to use VersaFine for this. I love the crispness of this ink. It just gives you a beautiful edge. And if you're not blending or not doing anything else on top, it's just perfect. I'm not pushing hard because I don't want it to be distorted or anything. Oh my goodness, that's perfect. I'm just making sure I don't hit that on the way off. I think that's the most perfect one I've ever lined up. I'm very proud right now. And we'll do this one here. Okay, I'm going to do 1,000 of these flowers because they are beautiful. There is also a leaf in here. It's a two-step leaf. So 2 colours of green and then the outline. I'm going to really, really quickly do those now because I do want to use a couple or at least one leaf. But it's the same sort of gist, so I don't think I need to do that on camera. I will use, I think I'm going to use Key Lime Fizz and Green Apple from Hero Arts. I just like those greens. So I'm going to do those really quick and I'll be right back. Okay, so I switched out my colours for my leaves. So instead of doing Key Lime Fizz and Green Apple, I did Green Hills and Green Apple. It was just a little bit too bright. So when I put them together, they just didn't quite look right. Okay, so these are my 2 bases. I'm really leaning towards this. I just think it looks right. And I'm just grabbing my 2 flowers here. I just love the way they sit together, and they do, you can do them sort of like upside down and do one of each, or you can kind of cluster them in the corner. I like the corner cluster, I think, on this one. I am leaning towards the spots. And then I can put the leaves in. And what I actually like to do with one of them is just cut around the edge. And I'll grab my white gel pen and just come in along that edge there. I'll hide that anyway, but it means that I get sort of 3 little bits instead of 2, which I just love. So you can have that. You can pop this one down under here maybe. And then you can have a slightly bigger kind of 3 cluster there. And then I reckon, whoopsies. And I reckon you have the happy birthday in the top corner. Now I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this is like completely masculine, but to me, it doesn't look as feminine as some of the other ones I do. And like I would be quite happy to give this to a guy. Maybe I'm weird, but I think that looks cool. So I'm just popping this into sort of the spot that I wanted. It's times like this I wish I had press and seal, but I don't. So have it like that. So I'm just going around the edges of these ones. So I've turned this one into 3 instead of 1. So I reckon I can pop that second one under there and then do a 1, 2 under here. Yes, that's it. Okay, so I'm going to grab a bit of washi tape. I'm trying to get the 2 flowers down first because I'm going to pop them up on some foam tape anyway. And I'm just going to pop a little bit of tape onto the 3 little leaves. So this way I can pick up this baby and I can put these ones here. Some foam squares. And if I can find it, my glue. So I like to do this because that way I know they're like in place. So I can flip these up. Put a little bit of glue under here. And then I can flip it straight back down and I know it's in the right spot because that's where I had it. I can do the same thing here. I can just lift this up. Just going to leave that tape there just for a sec while I sort out this next bit. So put down some glue all along here. And that'll hold those 2 together for a minute. So I'm just going to pop that there. So just a couple of little things, I guess, when you're using layering stamps and when you're using inks. I sometimes find that you don't get a beautiful kind of smooth finish the first time. If that's the case, go over with the second one because that'll help most of the time. But if you still don't really like it, just give it a minute because a lot of the inks these days will just kind of smooth themselves out. They just don't go down beautifully, but once they're down, they look lovely. So it's just sometimes a matter of giving it a couple of seconds and it'll sort itself out. I was going to use foam squares, but I've got some length here, so I'll use tape. I'm just going to pop that all over the back here. Go back in with my gel pen just on this one. The other one will actually get cut off because I'll trim that off in a sec. And then we'll just work out again where this goes. Just there. Oh, I love that. And then tape off and we'll stick it down. So I'm just lining that up. I don't want the flower to hang off too much, if at all. So I'm just moving that. There we go. Now, oh, I hate that. I've got a little bit of glue, so it's just sticky. So I'm just using my eraser just to get rid of the stick. And if it's still there, I'll just put a bit of powder on it, which will at least stop it being sticky. No! It's alright, it's alright, it's alright, it's alright, it's alright. I'm going to stop doing that. And then I moved it up too far. Where are my tweezers? Now my little leaves are in the wrong spot. So I'm being gentle. You know, I am doing a little bit of damage here in the back. I can feel it, but this is going to cover it up again anyway, so I feel like I'm okay. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put this down again, but I'm going to wiggle it so that I don't have to use, like that the second leaf here is behind it, so I can kind of hide the fact that I buggered that up. Alright, just one little spot there that I don't like. I've nearly messed it up, but not quite. Not quite. I really love those spots. We have to do more cards with the spots. Okay, and then for the sentiment, I want something really simple. I don't want to bring in any other colours. I want it almost like a straight line, almost. So, I just so happened to have a bunch of my birthday stamps out because I was doing some more birthday cards yesterday. So I'm just, ooh. And I find the fonts do kind of make a difference. And if you can find the font that works, that kind of makes it a bit masculine as well. No, I think it needs to be, and I'm very nervous. I did clean this, but I think if I put it just sort of there-ish. Part of me wants to just stamp it straight onto, but I don't know how that'll stamp over the top of that texture. Right, let's do two. Let's do two things. I'm going to grab this out first and just stamp it down onto some white cardboard, and we'll just cut it out. We'll see what that looks like. And if I don't like it, we'll go straight to the page. This is the same one I was using with the leaves. This is actually a really simple sentiment to be able to cut out, so I'm okay to give this one a try. Using the VersaFine again so I get that beautiful crisp black. Oh yeah. And I'm just going to really quickly hit this with the heat tool just so I can keep going. Because I have smudged VersaFine in the past. And I don't want to cut it perfectly straight, but I also don't want to cut it, like fussy cut it. It's sort of somewhere in between. So I'm just giving it like a little bit of movement. There'll be no movement on the bottom, so it does make it a little bit easier when it's that flat. So let's just see what that looks like. Oh, actually, I don't mind that. I thought it would look really silly, but I don't think it does. I think that looks nice. Okay. I just want to try one quick thing, and this may be silly, but I want to try it anyway. I just want to mat this on a bit of black. So just glue tape on the back. Very, very skinny border. And I'm just going to fussy cut up around the top again. I feel like I've done more fussy cutting on my channel in the last couple of days than or last week or so than I've done for ages. Just feel like it needed a little bit more oomph. Yeah, I don't mind that. Alright, and I want this up too, but not as high as the other one. So I'm just grabbing a slightly smaller foam tape. Just put two little lines. Now the only thing that I'm sitting here thinking about is if this was a card for a girl, I'd be putting gemstones on it, and I don't think that I'm going to do that on this one. I feel like I just want it to stay a bit more subdued, a bit more simple. Let's go classic. We'll go classic. I want my ruler. I just want it to sit a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfectly straight. It just needs to be sort of straight enough. There we go. I like the dimension. Like it's got a couple of different layers on it, which I like. And I'm not going to cut the edge off the flower. It's just got this one little bit that's hanging off, and I'm going to leave it there. I feel like it's okay. Alright, we just need a card base, and then we're done. Alright, so as seems to be the way with everything I do, I've got a little bit of something on the edge there, so I'm just gently, this time, giving that a rub with the eraser. And then last but not least, I just want to just do that a little bit. It just seemed to be a little folded forward on the top, so I've just fixed that up. But there is my male floral card. I don't know if it fits the brief. I think it does. I know I'd be quite happy to give this to my dad, or to... I might not give it to Ryan, but I don't think I'd give him anything floral. I don't know. I'd be happy to give it to my dad. I'd be definitely happy to give it to one of my grandparents, my grandfathers if they were alive. I really love the background. I think the background is beautiful. I love the colour of the flowers, and I love the teal with the green. It's definitely got a masculine feel to it. I just don't know if it needed to be maybe a little darker to hit exactly what I want. But if you have any tips on how to make masculine floral cards, please let me know. You can leave it down below, or if you can find me on any of my socials. To whoever suggested this, please let me know who you were, and I will give you a big shout out in my next video, because, you know, I forgot. But thank you so much for the challenge. I hope that I kind of lived up to it. I think if you pick colours that aren't necessarily feminine, and that's hard to do because I think all colours can be feminine. But there's just a different way, and I have other ideas on how I could do a floral card for a man if you want me to try again another one, if you don't think this is quite enough. But yeah, let me know what you think. If you did enjoy this one, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for lots more card making, and please challenge me to anything you think I should try and make. I'd be quite happy to give it a try. I hope you have an absolutely awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you again in my next video. Sending lots of huggles. Bye!